We often talk about writing lifelike characters, but how about writing characters in their everyday life? You know, a character's normal world. Today we're discussing how to describe your character's everyday life without boring readers. A big thank you to Alan J. Early over on Patreon for suggesting this topic. Be sure to stick around to learn more. Hey guys, Nour here and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello, I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe for weekly writing advice videos. Part of writing realistic characters is knowing them inside and out. This means we must also learn the boring aspects of their life. Even if the majority of those aspects are just for us, the authors, and not really meant to go inside our stories. However, some details about our character's everyday life must be presented to the reader so that they can get a sense of what our character's world is like and perhaps what their mundane lives were like before the main conflict took place. But how do we do this? An easy way I accomplish this is by picking out just a few things about my character's everyday life that really stand out to me as the most descriptive about who my character is. Like I said earlier, it's really important to know all the aspects of our character's life, even if those aspects don't all make it on paper. You might list the games they like to play, the places they like to go, the friends they hang out with, and so on. You could even dive into the more boring details such as what they like and hate to eat and their morning routine. Again, these are just for you to know and not all meant to be written in your story. However, knowing these things will help you figure out who your character is and how to describe their everyday life. Now, from this list you've created, choose the details that stand out to you the most. For instance, in Divinity Falling, I chose the following details about my character Addie. I chose the fact that she loves coffee, that she likes to get dressed to go clubbing, that she works for an interior design company, and that she loves the show I Love Lucy so much that she even named her red car Lucy. As you can see, these are just minor details. But that's great because you don't want to flood your readers with so many boring facts. You just want to give them little details about your character's everyday life so that they can get a sense of what it's like and have a better idea in their minds about your character. Now, how do you include those little mundane details about your character's everyday life without it feeling like you pulled your reader away from the action just to tell them a tidbit about your character? It's simple. You transition into the detail while in the middle of fun action or right before fun action. Here's an example from Divinity Falling. Addie just received an order from a guardian angel and she's very much not happy with this order. So in the middle of being angry about all this, she starts pacing around her room and trying to figure out what to do. Then she sees her work desk and that brings her back to her everyday reality. You know, the fact that she has an everyday adult people job. No biggie. This is how it goes down. Work projects lay on my desk. I studied what I had so far. Photos of furniture and home decor along with my own creative sketches of interior designs, full of artistic details right down to the custom wall shelves and unique ceiling lampshades, were piling up next to the folder filled with interior shots of the house I was in charge of remodeling and designing with my team. It had been days since I'd touched the project, days since I'd even thought about it. I had to do it at some point if I wanted to keep my job, but for the life of me, I just could not think straight. Then in the following paragraph, she returns to being angry and thinking about what the guardian angel said. Notice I used the fact that she can't think straight as a transition out of her everyday life and back into the conflict at hand. And that's pretty much all the details my characters needed to get a sense of what her everyday life is like. In another scene, I have Addie wake up to the smell of coffee and then go walking into the kitchen to grab her cow mug. This little detail shows us a bit about her morning routine without dragging on. And right after this happens, the reader is swept back into the action as Addie recalls what's at stake. As you can see, it's really important to only pick a few details about your character's everyday life and then toss them amongst everything else going on. I don't personally recommend dedicating a big scene just to describing your character's everyday life. Now, an exception to this is if you're writing a world that's much different than ours and it's really important to show what that character's everyday life is like in that world. Then it makes sense to dedicate a big scene to showing their unusual routine and all that. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, do you struggle with balancing your character's everyday life from the rest of the story? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. I put out weekly writing advice videos that will take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne, Lori B, and Alan J. Early for my shout outs here over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really, really appreciate it. And remember, Nour for president!